God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. When I got like maybe 16, I got on the streets with the, negative people, negative places, negative things. And I got astray, started smoking a little reefer, drinking, and then branched off and graduated to the other drugs. I ended up homeless, you know. I ended up homeless, and I had to do something about what I needed to do. And I started fighting for my child. He gave me the fight for life, the fight to live, the fight for a better life, and the fight for something different. I went through the shelter, and they helped me with the funding to get a place where I can fight for my child, and based on my income. It's a struggle, but I know I'm not going backwards without my family, you know, and my son, he's my fight. That's what I live for today. I live for my child. Acceptance to me is the key. I did what I did. It's nothing I can change, but what I can do is change my future. Connecticut Housing Partners and, the Merton House, it's just been a blessing, man. It's been a blessing. Without them, I don't know where I'd be. I have a few friends that they tell me how blessed I am to be in this opportunity, to be able to do this. And by me going through what I'm going through, like you said, being able to afford, it's nothing but God's grace and mercy to be able to afford a situation like this and to wait for my child, to be able to be in a situation where I can say, you know what, it's okay right now. I can deal with this, I can get through it, And through Connecticut Housing Partners, that's how I'm able to do it.
After a divorce, staying in Connecticut, working at Simon Pierce, realizing, okay, maybe I should start looking into these places. I'll be here starting 8 years in November. When I first moved in, I lived in the independent side. I was just looking for a convenient place, walk into town, which I love to do, near the train station, close to my family. This place suited me more than some of the others. I really like this location, was what it came down to. I feel safe here. This is home for me.
I wanted to be a lawyer. Having a child at 19, I didn't experience life really. So it was my son literally growing up with me. I just graduated high school. I had literally just graduated and I found out that I was pregnant that summer. Because I was just finishing high school and my mom wanted me to go to college, I got kicked out. Economically, it was harder for me to raise him in an environment where I didn't have my own, or I wasn't financially stable, or I wasn't mentally stable, and I just wasn't ready. There was always a case where I got kicked out and then I was on my own. It was always, I didn't agree with how someone was telling me how to take care of my son, so now you gotta get out. Or if it was, I have to pay more than what everyone else is paying because I have a kid and I can't afford it, now I have to get out. That was just, it was a lot. I was homeless with my son for a while. I ended up in my car with my 4-year-old, and my mom had already had custody of my son because of me being homeless previously. We stayed there for about 4 months, 3-4 months, and the unit opened up for us here. I still have to get adjusted to the fact that I don't have to live out of laundry bags because I never got comfortable, and I'm sorry. I never got comfortable wherever I stayed to the point where I was able to take my stuff out of the bags and fold them and put them away. I never got comfortable. I kept my stuff in bags because I was always getting kicked out. So it was never an experience where I got comfortable enough to be able to say, all right, well, I'm gonna just set up here, make it home, and then that's gonna be that. No, it took me a while to adjust to not living in bags. It's a peace of mind for me. It's solitude for myself and my kids. It's somewhere that I can literally say, we're home now. We can be comfortable. I don't have to sleep with my door closed and locked because I'm scared somebody's watching over me while I'm sleeping. I don't have to be afraid like that. Just be myself and open up and try to create and try to make a small something for myself. Now I can breathe. I can actually dream.
We were living in a condo in Bridgeport, and I said if I ever go into a senior housing, this is where I want to be. I have been in several others, but this was the best one, the nicest one to me. My husband had passed away. I was on my own. Having one income coming in made it very difficult for me. When I first walked in, right away I knew this is what I wanted. Felt like home, and I really liked being here. I thought it was beautiful, being one person. It was exactly what I wanted. I'm happy here, and I enjoy being here.
What were the circumstances before moving in here? How did this place come to your rescue, so to speak?
I lived in a shelter. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He was a baby. I got kicked out of my mom's house. The person I got involved with wasn't really supportive. I wasn't having support by his father. I was doing it all by myself, fighting with him, going to the hospital after fighting with him, stuff like that. His father didn't want me to keep him. He was giving me so much options to adoption, kill him, and everything. I was basically in the street. I was living Bridgeport, New Haven, Bridgeport, New Haven. I was back and forth everywhere. And then I got here when he was 11 months. Being a mom and taking care of him and taking care of his future, it's been a blessing to live here. I don't know where I'd be at right now if I didn't have this. I have my own privacy. My son has his own privacy, so I'm gonna start crying. Sorry. I accomplished something from going through from the bottom and then to the top.
My wife died of COVID about 3 years ago, and we lived in a condo up in Danbury, which I really didn't need anymore. I had a couple of little problems with dizziness and stuff, and had to call the ambulance. And my son lives in Wilton. My one son lives in Wilton, so he said, "I want to get you down closer to us in case there's a problem." And he says, "You don't really need all that room up there anymore." And you're right. So I initially moved to Norwalk, to the Curb Apartments. So I was there for a year, but everybody there is 30 years old. And I started looking around, and I mean, it's a lot cheaper to stay here, but that wasn't my motivator to move someplace else. It was to get someplace where there's people that I can relate to. I was surprised I got in here so quick. There's, a half a dozen of us pretty much every day. In the evening, sit around and solve all the world's problems for a couple hours. Every other Friday we have a soiree, and we get 25, 30 people. You bring your wine and beer and coffee and whatever you want to drink, and an appetizer or a dessert. I like it very much. I'm glad I made the move.
So I've been living here since 2016 of June. I guess that's about what, 6, 7 years? It's just me and my 3 kids. And I would have had another baby, but I lost him last year. I had a stillborn at 34 weeks. I'm about to cry. Yeah, so I think I wasn't working, so I think they went up on a rent here. Ken came here, and I spoke to him about the situation, about the losing of the baby. And, he encouraged me, just take it easy, take one day at a time. He put me on the payment plan. I was able to figure it out for my rent, and I got caught up. And that was just that. Like, I appreciate it because not a lot of people are gonna do that. Because if you were somewhere else, they'd be like, no, you need it or you gotta get out. That's it. Like, nobody's not gonna accept that. Like, even with you having all these excuses, all these sorry excuses, a lot of people don't feel sorry for people. You know what I mean? Not trying to say I want someone to feel sorry for me, but life, real situations happen. It was a lot on me. Like, I was trying to handle so much. I was trying to do, and plus with the kids, I'm a single mom. So Connecticut Housing Partners helped me, in my time of need when I was going through a real hardship. So that's it.